Now it has been nearly 2 months since a 5-cell camera head-to-head competition video. In that video, one of the contestants was a Moultrie Edge, and although brand new and the initial setup went great, my camera malfunctioned. In fact, it either would not take any pictures at all throughout my testing, or if it did take pictures, it would false trigger and take hundreds of pictures of nothing. Now, I reached out to Moultrie, and through their warranty process, they replaced the faulty camera, no expense to me. So that was great, and today I have an update after using the new camera for over a month now. I'll give the pros and cons as I see it now after actually getting to use an operating camera. So let's check out the Moultrie Edge. So I have plenty of sample footage that I'm going to be showing you as I give you the pros and cons. I'm going to start off with my experience with the customer service, and that was definitely a pro. Now, one of my pet peeves is when you have warranty work to have to pay to send the camera or whatever the product is back. I know that may be standard procedure with some companies, but when I had trouble with my original Moultrie camera, Moultrie paid to get that camera shipped back to them, no expense to me. The other good part with the customer service was how fast that transaction happened. As they sent me the shipping label to get the camera shipped off, as soon as they received confirmation that I actually shipped that camera to them, the new camera was on its way to me. Again, I can't say how pleased I was with how fast that transaction went. If you're an avid trail camera like myself, you don't want to be missing your trail camera for weeks or maybe even up to a month. This, within days, I had the replacement camera, was back up and running. Let me talk about some of the other pros or positives that I see with this camera, and one is the photo and video quality. Although right now is one of the hardest time of year to get photos or videos of animals, and most of what I'm getting is only at nighttime now, this camera did exceptionally well. I was pleased with its trigger speed and its nighttime IR. I thought the IR lights did a good job at night illuminating the area, not being too bright or not bright enough. I thought it was just a happy medium, and I was pleased with the quality that this camera provided. Now, another positive thing with this camera, it has that auto connect SIM card. With one SIM card, it will search and choose the best signal in your area. I think this camera did exceptionally well. Typically, I do not have good cell service here on my farm, but this camera probably did one of the best jobs at picking up signal. In other words, where this camera was mounted close to many other cell cams, this camera would show more service and seem to connect and send photos and videos very easily. So I would say their auto connect SIM card is a positive. It did a good job. I was pleased with the amount of signal that this camera picked up. This camera also comes with the Cell Boost antenna that folds down and for easier transport and to make it more compact when you're taking it to your spot, you simply fold it up in place. And although the antenna is permanently mounted, or in other words, there's no easy way to take it off and replace it with another antenna, I really see no need to, again, because I already mentioned it does a great job picking up what little service I have here on the farm. This camera is also simple to operate. It has an on-off switch, and then it has very few status lights. Some cell cams seem to overdo it with their status lights and have a whole array of lights that you're going to have to figure out what they mean and how they work. With this camera, it has a simple connected or not connected light. It makes it as simple as simply turning on the camera, waiting till you get the connected light, and you're ready to go. I like that fact. The simpler, the better, especially when it comes to cell cameras. Another positive is this camera allows you to operate it on 8 or 16 AA batteries. Now, if you're just simply going to be checking the camera often, or you're not having it in maybe a remote location where you won't get back to it, you can simply run the camera on 8 batteries. Now, if you're going to plan on leaving it for long periods of time, you do have the option to put in 16 batteries, which of course is going to extend the battery life because you have more batteries, but that's going to allow this camera to operate for longer periods of time. Now, any cell camera is going to take more power than your standard trail camera will, simply because it has more operating features and it takes more power to be connecting to a modem and sending those pictures and videos remotely. I put in 16 AA batteries, and I took mostly nighttime videos, which is going to take the most amount of battery power, and I'm still on those original batteries even with all the sample videos that I'm showing you. The camera also comes with a tree strap, which is pretty standard nowadays, but it also has two 1/4-20 mounts. That can be important because it has one on the back and the bottom. It gives you total flexibility on how you want to mount this camera. I give it a thumbs up for the availability of multiple 1/4-20 mounts plus a tree strap. Now, are there any negatives or things that I think could be improved? One thing I haven't touched on yet is this camera requires no SD card. Now, that's a positive in the fact that most problems that you have with the trail cameras, especially cell cams, oftentimes relate back to your SD card. Either a problem with your SD card, not fast enough to be able to keep up with a cell cam, not fast enough to be able to keep up with video, or just an overall user error by putting in the wrong SD card or putting one in directly from another trail camera. Many different issues can arise from SD cards. That is all eliminated with this camera because there is no SD card. It's built into the camera. So A, you don't have to worry about it, and B, you will never have problems related to an SD card. Now, why do I put that on the cons? Well, if you watch my original review video, or at least the original head-to-head video where I discussed this camera, I'm not keen on that idea of not having an SD card. If I put this camera on photo or video mode, there is no way to retrieve those photos or videos without going through the app and making a request. You can request the video, then the video is downloaded. I then have to download that video from the app to my phone, and then from my phone to the PC. So for me, that is just too many steps. In fact, I'm showing between 20 and 25 sample videos that I've received from this camera, but I had to go through all those steps for every single video. Please, Moultrie, give me a USB port that I can simply plug my laptop into and use this as a mass storage, and I can simply copy and paste those photos or videos to my laptop or my PC. I do this with other cameras that have built-in SD. It works flawlessly, and it doesn't hold my photos or videos captive on your app. So if you're listening, please give me that port, and I'll love your built-in SD. Until then, it's a huge con for me, especially the way I use trail cameras. I love putting together Thursday trail cam highlights with videos from other cameras, because the amount of time and effort to get those videos from this camera onto my computer to be able to get it onto YouTube. A huge headache. It is a con for me, even though I realize the idea behind the built-in SD card. But please give me that USB port so that I can access my videos without downloading them through the app to my phone, from my phone to my PC, from my PC to YouTube. It's a con in my book. The only other con that I'll mention, and this isn't quite as big of a deal, but in video mode, when a video is taken and it's sent to the app, you only get a thumbnail preview. It's not a motion thumbnail, it's not a GIF, it is simply a static thumbnail that really doesn't give you a great idea what's on that video. Many other manufacturers that give you a preview in your video, maybe from the beginning, middle, and end of the video, you definitely get a better idea of whether you actually want to download that video simply going off a still thumbnail. It's really hard to choose which video you actually want to download. So for me, I'll put that in the con column simply because I would like to see a motion thumbnail to see whether I want to download that video. So pretty minor con overall. If they put a USB port on this camera, it would be an A+. Really, that's the biggest con that sticks out for my type of use or how I like to use my cell cams. Other than that, I've been pleased with this replacement camera. It's been operating great, no hiccups, good quality videos as you've been seeing in the samples. I think they have a good thing going here with how quick and easy it is to connect. It does great in low service areas, and since I've been sent this replacement, I've had no issues whatsoever. So I'd love to hear from you and your experiences with this new Moultrie Edge. Have you tried it? Do you want to try it? There'll be a link down in the description if you would want more information, or maybe you would like to buy one for yourself. If you have questions or comments, or maybe something that I didn't touch on but you're curious about or would like to ask a question, feel free to ask your question. Simply put that down in the comments section. I do my best to read all the comments and get back to each and every one of you. I also want to thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.